Oh, Uganda is going to be this in 2030, 2050, 20, so it will pay its debt. Trump has shown us the future can be different. COVID showed us the future can be different. But also, are you able to implement as Uganda to realize your objectives? The bulk of good portion of Uganda's debt was borrowed pegged on oil.
Yeah.
This is going to be an oil country. 2012, oil flows. We will pay the debt.
10 years
it
later.
Didn't come. Oh, 2017. 2020. Remember, you borrowed some debt which is maturing on the basis that by 2017 you will have oil. Now it's not there. That debt is there. Now, 2025, 2027, I can guarantee you Uganda is not going to have oil in 2027. Make this recording, let's come back and revisit it.
Why do you think so? Why do you doubt?
A child who is in P7 is not going to become a medical doctor in 6 years.
That's true.
There is an investment to do. You're in P7, thank you very much, you're bright. Namagunga Primary, boarding, Budo boarding, Old Kampala. We still have our 4 years in O level. We have our 2 years in A level. We have our 5 years in Makerere, plus 1 year of internship. There is that process of those investments to make a doctor. And anything can go wrong. The parent can lose a job, and you don't go to the school that will give you the grades for medicine. Anything can happen, positive or negative. But there is that window of years. I'm not counting of what happened in between. There is a fixed year period, 4 years of O level, 2 years of A level, 5 years. So there's a 12-year window before a P7 graduate can become a doctor. So you have oil. You can do the investments in Ulisa. That's production phase. The real commercialization is when the oil gets into the market. Global market oil is an international resource.
The pipeline.
The pipeline. 1,445 kilometers. We haven't started the construction.
We can't do it in 2 years.
Can you?
Certainly not.
It's not a nest. It's not a spider's web.
No, not possible.
It's not possible. And we have not started. We are still looking for financing.
And the clock is ticking.
So you begin to see your 12-year window of a P7 becoming a doctor. Don't go beginning to borrow and say, but my daughter is going to be a doctor, we will pay the loan. No, there is 12 years before the daughter earns any money. And that is if they find the job. Because right now we are struggling to pay interns. They can finish Makere 5 years, internship, and they cannot practice medicine
without
minus
1 year of
internship. You can't practice law minus LDC.
Are you a woman with a small-scale business with a dream of growing it to another level? The GROW Project is here to support you in realizing your dream.
The GROW Project is a government initiative implemented by the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development and Private Sector Foundation Uganda with support from the World Bank.
We support women-owned businesses across the country to gain hands-on and business management skills through training within your location, business financing through grants and affordable loans, and infrastructure in your areas of operation to enable you to increase your productivity.
If you have a business that makes sales of up to 800,000 Uganda shillings per month, the GROW Project has the tools and resources to help you succeed. For more information, contact your district or city GROW focal person or call our toll-free line on 0800 307 777 to learn more about how you can benefit from the GROW Project's services.
The GROW Project, empowering women economically, transforming communities.
Let's face these realities, even now we set these timelines.
So earliest, how soon can we have that?
Now it will depend on when we start. If she's not pregnant, don't begin counting the 9 months. She's not pregnant yet. So I don't want to begin counting. I go to Hoima and generally I drive along trailers carrying segments of the pipeline.
Yes.
But these are the pipes within the production area. The border that brings people to the taxi park. And the taxis that bring people to the bus park. That is a positive progress, that we are making our way to the bus park. But we haven't started the journey from Kampala to Nairobi. Until that bus fills up and sets off. I don't want to begin telling people we'll be in Nairobi at 6. No, can we
when
wait?
you're not yet at the bus park.
So I want to see these segments of pipes
Yes.
headed to Sembabule,
Mm.
not Hoima,
Mm.
headed to Mitiana, because the pipeline is passing through all those routes. So once I begin to see those segments going towards those directions, then I will say, yes, now, can we sit down and count? As long as all the pipe segments are going to Hoima, there is that T, Kivale, whatever, my friends in Chikube, because the pipeline is a T. Collecting, the top of the T is collecting in the oil area. Then you bring it to one place.
Yes.
Then the other part of the cross is to get it to town. We have done a lot, but I'm saying I want to see segments of the pipes beginning to get laid in the ground. Then I'll begin to count and say, can we now set a timeline of when the oil flows? As of now, I don't want to get into that space. And I come from Hoima. I have gone through Kibale. I've gone through Mpigi, Sembabule. You see, because the pipeline is a direct line, it doesn't follow the roads. So there are certain roads we haven't done,
Okay.
which are as close to where the pipeline is passing. Don't tell me I stay in where you're getting, oh, the road to Jinja will take you home. No, I branch off and do some 2 kilometers. That's where my problem is. So even when you go on the tarmac roads we have done, which we call the oil roads, Hoima to Buhimba, and then Buhimba to Nyarweyo, and the pipeline is some 15 kilometers, 20 kilometers off that tarmac road. How will this
has nothing to do with
how will this semi-trailer do that last mile? We always call it a last mile in planning.
Yes.
How will this semi-trailer do the last mile? You are discussing UETCL transmission. The real problem between me and the electricity is UEDCL, the distribution.
Distribution, yes.
The role Umeme was doing, the role UEDCL has taken over, is the real tapping of the value of electricity. It is nice to have those pylons from Karuma to Kawanda. Ultimately, UEDCL must be empowered to do the last mile. Because that's where my problem is. I have a connection on the pole. Now, who is going to do that last mile between the main road, Buhimba to Nyarweyo, to where the pipeline segment is passing? That is a community road. That is a district road. But it's a national road in the sense of the oil project. Do we need to upgrade it from Hoima and Kikuwe and the Sembabule district? Because it has a national interest. It can no longer be left to Sembabule to determine and say I have no money. Because we must find money for that road. So when I look at those complicated details, you still have an issue. 2027, you're talking politics.
And we seem to be believing it. Many people.
We have believed many times. I've told people when I was at within the mainstream of government, when they said 2012, I didn't look at their pronouncements of the law is in place, there is a PAU, Petroleum Authority in place. I'm like, no. It is about that infrastructure on the ground. We train the petroleum lawyers. I think my friend Kirio, the Attorney General, trained in petroleum law.
Aberdeen, Dundee.
Because we knew petroleum was coming. You know, it's not about the lawyers. It's not about the geologists did their part. It is now about this real commercialization phase. And there you don't need politics.
It's reality.
You need to face those realities. Have I gotten the access of way? Thank you very much. A lot of the right of way has been accessed and realized.
Land acquisition.
The land acquisition. Total has done a good job with government. Now you need to get into the financing. And that will speak to a lot of things. Who wants to invest in a country $2-3 billion, recoverable over 10-15 years? I want to first ask, what will Uganda be? Politically, socially, economically, over the 15 years. Are we going to get a Trump in this country? Are we going to get an Idi Amin who will come and have nationalized the pipeline? Whoever had invested here get lost. How do you give assurance to that guy that the Ugandan judicial, political, military situation we will secure your investment of 3 billion and you recover it over 15-year period. We have to do this with the Jagari. It's what we call a partial risk guarantee. What if a certain future leader will come and recover their money from my money by nationalizing the project? And we're beginning to see these things, which was saying earlier on, people are saying, why don't we nationalize? Somebody may come and say, we nationalize MTN.
And it's popular, it's a public sentiment.
It's a sentiment out there. Thank God Mr. Museveni doesn't get that far, but what happens with a future leader? He might want to seek that kind of popularity of Trump. And say, by the way, this is a good idea, MTN, government project now. At least women waited for the concession to end, paid them their balances. That was good assurance of a government that is sober, who could have simply nationalized them and say, get lost. So for me, development is about those signals, and if you want to invite people to invest long term, they need those assurances. Mr. Museveni has done well in a number of ways, giving back Asians their properties or to give people assurance. Though some people say actually the Asians were paid. These things were government assets from that point. But that's another debate. But at least what we wanted to signal is you can come and invest in Uganda, the government will protect your interest.
And it worked.
People came back. You have no idea how
60% of the economy, isn't it, in their hands?
You have no idea how much the Asians brought back into Lugazi, into Meta. The people who have now invested in Hima, cement factory, they are putting there a lot of money because they see the market. People have invested in different projects. People have come in, foreign investors. But that FDI takes your behavior as government and the signaling of the domestic market and access to foreign markets, regional markets as well. The region is not that convincing to investors abroad. If Trump is going to quarrel with the Europeans, then nobody wants to invest in America because they knew we invest in America because there is the European market to access. But I have respect for what Trump wants to achieve. The question will be on the modality. You don't disrupt those systems. You can inch in and reverse things. Don't just come with.
Are you a woman with a small-scale business with a dream of growing it to another level? The GROW Project is here to support you in realizing your dream.
The GROW Project is a government initiative implemented by the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development and Private Sector Foundation Uganda with support from the World Bank.
We support women-owned businesses across the country to gain hands-on and business management skills through training within your location, business financing through grants and affordable loans, and infrastructure in your areas of operation to enable you to increase your productivity.
If you have a business that makes sales of up to 800,000 Uganda shillings per month, the GROW Project has the tools and resources to help you succeed. For more information, contact your district or city GROW focal person or call our toll-free line on 0800 307 777 to learn more about how you can benefit from the GROW Project's services.
The GROW Project, empowering women economically, transforming communities.
So, Professor, talking about regional markets, does it therefore make sense for Uganda to invest in some roads in DRC to improve access to the markets there?
It doesn't make sense, but you'd say, what is the option? Because those roads are key for our products to get there.
Yes.
How I wish it was an East African project. Collectively. The African Union had done an infrastructure map or strategy for the whole of Africa. And we know there are roads here that are interregional roads. So you see a road going through Uganda, but it's part of the Greater Africa project, going to Sudan, crossing to Congo, but it passes here and Uganda does its part. So you need those roads, you need those railways, you need those interventions of infrastructure across the region to reach out there. But certainly to put that burden on Uganda is a failure of regional integration arrangements, to have a plan of how do we realize our regional integration objectives. Last year I went to Ireland. These guys took me there to have a very nice, interesting conversation in Kilkenny. And we drove on a dual carriage road for an equivalent of Kampala to Masaka. 140 kilometers. 2 lanes this way, two lanes the other way. 15 years ago, during around the 2011-2012, Ireland was a failed economy. It was among those they called the pigs. Portugal, Ireland, Iceland, Greece, and Spain. So they coined out something called the pigs. And you know what pigs are. You only want to see them on the plate for those who eat them. But they were failed, totally failed economies. Today, Ireland is one of the finest economies with a big surplus, budget surplus. They are covering all their basic needs of the communities. They have advanced into the pharmaceutical industry. But this road we were on was not invested in by any Irish money, European Union. So the European Union has been investing to say we are European Union. If a member can't do a road, we will. Because that member must come up. Our strength is, as we said earlier, safety in numbers. And that's why even when the Brexit happened, Britain wants to come back under some terms. It's negotiating. How can I get back to some benefits of the European Union? Now that even Trump, I thought I would be across the Atlantic, can I win? Can I have proximity to X, Y, and Z? So safety in numbers. So it's good that DRC gets good roads. It's our number 2, number 3 destination of exports. Kenya is number 1. So DRC keeps switching with South Sudan, depending on the security situation and the needs. But between those 3 countries, Uganda has its bulk of exports. So you want the roads in Kenya to be good, the roads in South Sudan to be good, the roads in the DRC to be good. Credit to the roads we did in northern Uganda. And the roads from Kabarole, Fort Portal to Gondibujo,
towards DRC.
Then the roads through Kisoro to DRC, all these roads from Guru going all the way to the Sudan border. You would wish there are even better roads across, and that's your interest. These are some of the finest good roads. And thanks again, as we're talking about the Africa Development Bank. When Kaberuka was president of Africa Development Bank, he said, I will give priority to any country coming to borrow, to do roads inside the country, but which feed into the region. So your Kabale Kisoro Road is in Uganda, but it is opening up regional trade. I will give you a grant. You won't borrow the entire $100 million you need. Africa Development Bank will give you a grant. And say you needed 100 million, you borrow 80. You borrow 70. Because it is feeding and opening up Africans. So we did a number of roads in northern Uganda, going to the Sudan border. The road to Kapchorwa is not just a road to Kapchorwa. From there you connect to Buko and go to Kenya. Unfortunately, the one from, I'm glad now it is being worked on. I think they have finished. Hope they have. So you're not just going to Kapchorwa, you're going into Kenya to export. You're not just climbing into Kisoro, you're going into DRC. I'm not just going to the Kabale, Katuna, you know, this Mirama Hill connection to Rwanda. Now we have a very bad road, Masaka to Mutukula.
Very narrow.
You know, and the potholes. It's a nightmare of a road. So you begin to see the need for not just doing the roads and ending at the border, and then traders find challenges just beyond. But should Uganda carry that burden? Alone. How do we get into a conversation that will create a pool? And in the European Union, the pool comes from the richer countries. Germany will make a contribution to the European Union budget to do roads in the European Union. Because once the European Union are rich, the German companies will sell there. Because the German economy, 50% of it is export. But export, bulk of it is to the European Union. So my neighbors must be rich to buy my milk, to buy my eggs, to buy my cabbages.
Sustainable.
So I will do everything possible to make my neighbors rich. And I think that's the ideology Uganda was trying to pursue. But we're saying, isn't it a heavy strain on our mega small budget? If I spend money in the Congo and I can't fix roads in Uganda, I'm still not solving a problem. Because you don't start at the border. to take cows to Congo.
You have to reach there first.
You have to start in Zimbabwe, you have to start in Chiboga where the cows are, and then you go deep into Bunia.
Yes.
So, but shouldn't this be an East African regional project?
But doctor, you know the ESC countries, some of them can't even pay their membership.
Now those are the issues you want to look into. And that's why I was saying, now as Uganda, how do I tap global?
You go beyond that.
Let me go beyond. Let me go and convince these Chinese, these Arabs, who have the money, and say, by the way, I'm not just borrowing for Uganda. The investments I want to do will bring even more products from the Congo. We all know there are minerals in Congo. So doing the roads in Congo is a decent thing to do. And any global person who wants minerals from Congo, the Congolese, the Americans are now out there, should be supporting us to develop our infrastructure in the region, not just one road and another road there. And this, as we said earlier, that's why the National Planning Authority terminology of integrated road network. It's not a UNRA road. The UNRA road gets fed into by a district road. The district road gets fed into by a community road. So those projects must work. But now our economy has reached a level that we can't even sustain the roads. The road maintenance budget is too small, and our roads have deteriorated.